All right. You know, I'm driving. I got a 7-hour drive, and it's basically my mobile office. I want to be able to put some stuff out while I'm on the road, because I'm on the road a lot. And one thing I want to talk about today, you know, the biggest thing is you know, bowl season starts coming up. All these games, these football games have started, and it's a bigger stage, right? But it's the same game we've always played, and I see it happen all the time to teams. Good teams, they take the moment and they get themselves out of what they know how to do by making the moment bigger than what it really is, because it's still the same game. It happens in baseball, football, basketball, soccer. I don't care what you do. It happens, and you've probably done it at some point in time in your life. And I'm not saying that, you know, what you have done obviously is a bad thing, but what we got to do is understand how to not make that same mistake again. So as we get into these games, right, and we're on national television, or, you know, it's we lose and we go home, all of a sudden we're in the tournament, it's a bigger game, bigger stage. But the fields don't change, the playbook doesn't change, nothing changes. The only thing that changes is our perception in our mind about what's going on. Now, how do we get back to making that the same game we've always played? That's a tough one, right? But it's a mental thing. Remember, your perception is your reality. So if you perceive this game to be bigger than any game you've ever played in your whole life, mentally you will begin to make it something it's not. You will make it a different game. You will make the game faster. You will make the game harder because you're nervous. You're making yourself more nervous. So what do? We rely back on all of our practice, on all of our training. We rely back on everything we've done, including the games we've played. It's the same game. The game you played last Wednesday in the regular season is the same game you played today in the postseason. That's what we got to understand. That's a tough thing to do. It's a mental thing. But we have to understand all those hours of practice, all those hours of training, all those games you've played your whole life, your entire life, all those games you've played have prepared you for this moment. This is no different. And I know I'm repeating this, but I gotta get it there. It's no different than any other game. The only difference is the stage. And that's where your mental toughness comes in. That's where the ability to make this game the same, to slow it back down, to bring it back to earth, to not give it more priority than it needs, to not let the moment, you know, define you. Because it isn't that's all it is a moment. It's a moment in time. It's a game like you've played your whole life. You've lined up before and you ran the ball. You've lined up, you've dropped back, you've passed the ball, you've played defense. It's the same game. And sometimes what happens is it affects us our pregame, and we expend a lot of energy and a lot of emotion pregame because we get into the crowd, we get into the national television, we get into everything except we forget what we're supposed to do, what we've been taught to do, what we've trained to do. So we get out of our game plan, right? And we have to get back into it. And you'll see some teams who have been there, you know, veteran teams who have been there, they tend to settle down sooner. Sometimes they settle down before the snap even begins, before the game even starts. Other teams you see freak out, and then all of a sudden at the end of the first quarter, the end of the first drive, sometimes even, end of the first quarter, sometimes like the half, you settle down, you relax, and then you see them play their game. Here's the problem. Sometimes the game's over by then. I'm not saying quit because you're behind, but what I'm saying is you've given yourself such a deficit. The other team has so much momentum that it doesn't matter anymore. It's too late. So we got to learn how to rely on our training. All the training you've done, all the practices, all the hard work you've put in has prepared you for this moment. Do not let this moment define you. Do not let the stage define you. Do not let the stage make the game seem bigger than it is. The stage is bigger, the game is the same. Go get your dreams. No grind, no glory. Same game, bigger stage. No big deal. You got this. Go get it.